What can I say about the God Queen Tyreen? Well, how about this? Well said, Rick. I think that perfectly sums up my experience farming her. If you're new to Rick and Morty, it means, I'm in great pain, please help me, in bird person language. If you're new to my channel and the video series, the reason I'm in great pain is because I'm on a quest to farm every boss 30 times and document every drop so we can decipher what bosses drop what loot and how much time it takes to farm them. If this interests you, please like and subscribe for more content and follow Stephen A's advice. What makes the God Queen so miserable to farm compared to other bosses? If your guess is time to kill,
that is correct.
I averaged around 4 minutes and 20 seconds per run. That is more than double the time it took for me to farm General Tron. So you can imagine with all the logging I had to do, that this took a sizable chunk of time and got pretty tedious. The good thing is I learned a ton. For the record, all of these runs are on Mayhem 3, True Vault Hunter mode, none of that Weenie Hut Jr. type stuff, Big Boys Only Club. Also, all of these runs are post-nerf to the Kings and Queens Call, and I'm playing as Amara. The rest of the video will go as follows. I'm going to cover tips and tricks I learned from the boss, I'm going to do a breakdown in Python of the different statistics I kept track of, and we'll close it out with the weapon showcase and summary of my time spent with the God Queen herself. First up, tips and tricks. Straight up, some of these Mayhem modifiers make you want to take the blue pill instead of the red pill. I had a 7-minute run that had elemental resist, max health increase, gun damage downgrades, the works. It was a goddamn planetary alignment out there. And the takeaway from this is don't be the tough guy. Just save, quit, and reset. You spawn right outside, so there's no point on being that over-the-top hardo. For the record, I was that guy for this video, for the purposes of science though. Tip number 2. The Butcher and the Kings and Queens Call are still amazing. When Tyreen bends over and lets you give it to her for a few seconds, you can absolutely annihilate her. And some of my quickest kills come from getting lucky with the Butcher. Tip number 3. When she's outside of that crit phase, the best gun that I found to use was a conference call, as this did the most amount of damage to her without having to rely on that crit spot. Tip number 4. Don't loot her treasure chest room. More to come on that later. So we are back in Python, new camera angle, really weird. If you guys could see how this is set up, you would laugh probably. But we're gonna dive into data right now. So our third farming session, Tyreen, the God Queen, the Destroyer in Necrotheo. If you guys haven't seen this before, we're gonna be logging cash, iridium drop rates, start and end times, anointed legendaries, epics, blues, greens, legendary names, chest drops, how many drops, what dropped, everything you could possibly want. We're going to break it down here in this Python Jupyter notebook. So let's jump on. We've done two other farms, three total. Tyreen's the third, and we can take a look at some of the numbers. So, and benchmark them, I guess. That's the important thing. Before, we didn't really have much context. Now we're starting to get more context and understand all the nuance to this. So, Tyreen sucks. She's really long. 4.43 minutes per run. It's almost double of what General Tron did, and multiples bigger than Captain Tron. You're only getting about 360 cash per run, so it's pretty bad considering you're spending twice the amount of time. Iridium per run, pretty good. So we're getting 20 iridium per run, but again, it's twice the amount of time. More than twice, actually. Legendaries, we got about 2 legendaries per run. On a binary basis, legendaries dropped 86% of the runs. Pretty dang good compared to the 60s we saw with other runs. Anointed legendaries, still haven't figured that out yet. Seems to be right about 0.1 or 10% of the time the legendary becomes anointed. TBD on that, TBD. Let's see. Some other things. Total time spent 133 minutes. Pretty long compared to the 67. Touched on that briefly. We opened 90 chests. We got 3 legendaries. That could be really unlucky. I'm not entirely sure because we got 7 legendaries for Captain Trant and opened 75. TBD also on that to see if that's normal or not. We'll keep collecting data as always. Now for the important metrics. So we saw the per run basis, 20 iridium, 300k cash, 2 legendaries per run. On a per hour basis, this boss starts to lag behind pretty bad actually. So legendaries per hour, 27 legendaries per hour versus General Trant at 25, Captain Trant at 41. Iridium per hour, 206 for General Trant, 276 for the God Queen herself, and Captain by far and away at 344 per hour. So pretty good for Iridium. Captain Trant is still the king for Iridium farming right now. Cash per minute, really bad. Cash per hour, very bad. If you want to farm cash, I don't know why you would. This is not the place for that. Now, one thing that hurt this boss a lot is the chest drop rate, as I mentioned before. So on a per hour basis, we only got 1.3 legendaries per hour versus 9 on the Captain Trant runs. So big difference there. Could be luck, could not be luck. We'll have to mess around with that to figure that out. As far as the drop rate, pretty linear. As I said, 86% of runs had at least 1 legendary, so pretty linear, pretty smooth, not too many lulls. Iridium, same boat, really smooth, really consistent. Now, what dropped? I noticed in the last video I was a big idiot and didn't separate out class mods, so I've done that now. It should be a lot cleaner as we go forward. 46 or almost 50% of the time we got guns. 20% of the time, 17 we got shields, 6 artifacts, 5 class mods, 4 grenades, and 5 legendary skins. It's a lot of legendary skins. And once you use it once, it's pretty much useless and takes up space. Now, what dropped? Now, everyone knows this. The King's and Queen's Call. We got 4 King's Calls. We got 2 Queen's Calls. That's what you come here for. It was a lot better. Still a pretty dang good gun. Come and pick that up for sure. The other thing was the Cutsman. I got 2 Cutsmans. I would highly recommend this gun. I've gotten other Cutsmans before on unlogged runs. I know the Cutsman drops from this boss, and this is the place to come get it. It is my single best gun for stripping shields on large creatures that don't move fast. It's an amazing gun. What else dropped? We have, just in case, it's one of those skins I mentioned. We have a Phase Zerker, which is a class mod. Some other random knickknack stuff that doesn't really catch my attention and are all things you can get from Captain Trant as well. Now let's call out some of the other things that dropped. I got a Brainstormer, an anointed Brainstormer. This is one of the best shotguns I've seen. I've highlighted this before in my top 10 video or top 5 gun video. It's amazing. I can showcase it in game here in a little bit, but an amazing drop. Super lucky to get that. I got a Lionage without a weapon mod or a weapon damage mod. There's typically like 120% melee damage mod. Melee damage mod. That didn't drop on this. That was really unique as well. The other stuff, pretty run-of-the-mill. Nothing too crazy that I saw. Dictator dropped from here. Trying to see if anything else catches my eye from this list. Nothing else. The only other thing is I didn't get any loaded dice. So no loaded dice artifacts dropping from this boss. Could be luck, could not be luck. It feels like it's not in this loot pool because we typically see 1 or 2. Especially with the volume of legendaries we got as well. It seems unlikely loaded dice drop from this boss. That's all I have for Python. Okay, we're in game. I wanted to showcase the weapons that I dropped just so you guys get a better idea visually of what dropped. The big thing you're going to be shooting for are the King's Calls and the Queen's Calls. So I got a couple of those. Got one in Fire, a Queen's Call in Frost, a Corrosion one, an Electric one. Got one for every occasion. Also the Cutsmans. I got an Electric Cutsman. I can't recommend the Cutsman enough. One of the best weapons for stripping shields on larger, slow enemies. I believe I got a corrosive version as well in here. Yep, right there. I got a cash-infused Crossroads. I had one of these in Fire. Now I have it in Lightning. These are exceptional. Let me show you real quick how they shoot. They shoot like this burst pattern. And they do so much damage. You have to go and find one of these. It's necessary for all your loadouts. the piece de resistance, the crown jewel, is the cash-infused Brainstormer. This is by far one of the best shotguns I've used, and it came in anointed. So on action skill end, the next 2 magazines will have 50% additional corrosive damage. It's beautiful, it's anointed. I've been searching for one of these. I've kept a level 44 one of these in my inventory. That's how good these shotguns are. And what they do is they basically just chain together different enemies, so they're really good for mobbing, not so great for bosses, single target. Mobbing though, they're amazing. You have to see what they do. Some other things I want to highlight: a more lineage anointed. This has no melee weapon on it, which is pretty rare. We got a Nighthawkin, Relentless Chaos, a Barrage, Sleeping Giants. You don't care about artifacts. Those are my old weapons. A few different shields. I got this Rowan's Call from one of the chests. It's pretty good. I had one in Radioactive. Now I have one in this. I've got 2 of these from chests as well, Thunderball Fists, in during this run. And then I got a Shred-a-Fire, a Jericho, a Dictator. The Dictator I got was not anointed. I trashed it since I needed more space. Here's some more things in the ground I got. We got a Big Boom Blaster, and we got Wood Blocker, Sprinkler, a few other things. So those are the loot drops. That's all for that. So to close it out, is the God Queen Tyreen a good farm? Well, in case you haven't been paying attention, straight up hell no. The only redeeming part about this farm is a loot pool where she continuously drops a King's and Queen's Call and the Cutsman Rifle. But once you get those, I can't recommend you spending more time with her. I would highly recommend you get your weapons you need, your Kings and Queen Calls, and then go to Captain Trant and farm that. You're going to be a lot more efficient per hour than farming her. Additionally, Captain Trant's just a less stressful fight than her. Also, if you are going to farm her, I just can't recommend you go for the chests at the end. As I mentioned in the Python section, you're not getting that many extra legendaries per hour. Now, potentially there was some randomness in my luck and I got really, really unlucky. But overall, it doesn't seem to provide much value. But that's all for today, guys. Thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for more.